What's a normal amount to read in 1 week? I really don't know, but we're gonna find out how much I read this week. Let's do it. Like, I feel like it's like a dry sandwich. Like, we got veggies, but we got no sauce, you know? Day 1, morning book. I'm on page 142, 549. I finished. Went to page 229. It's now 6:24, so a little longer reading today, but I want to get it done. Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim. I'm so excited you're here with me today. This week I am going to be challenging myself to read as much as I possibly can and keep track of it all. I was really vibing at the beginning of this month and kind of feeling good about my reading, and the last couple days I've hit a bit of a slump. So the game plan is to get out of that slump and read as much as I can this week. Let's stop yapping and let's get right to reading. So we're starting Monday. We're going to go through to Sunday. I read in the morning, so I have a morning read, and then I have a afternoon, evening read. So we'll keep track of it all. Let's do it. It is now Monday afternoon, and I've officially finished Anne of Green Gables. So yeah, we're starting off this reading challenge quite well. My morning read has been finished. I need to pick out a new one, which I will do later on today for tomorrow morning. But I just wanted to pop in here and say I finished off this one. Then I wanted to mention the fiction books that I am hoping to read in this vlog. There are several of them. The first two I've already started, and the other one I actually just got. So the first one is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I just started this one yesterday, and it was in my last vlog. My cat Marbles picked it out for me, and I am 34 pages in, so I'm hoping to get this one read this week. It is a contemporary rom-com romance. I'm also in the middle of A Stage Set for Villains by Shannon J. Spann. This is a fantasy, a dark fantasy that is written kind of like a play, and I'm halfway through. I just really wasn't feeling it, so I soft DNF'd it, but I do want to get back into it because, well, I want to finish it up. So we're hoping to finish that one up this week, and then I also want to read The Shampoo Effect by Jenny Jackson. This is like a contemporary fiction and a female speculative fiction novel, so I'm really excited for this one. I just got it in my July book of the month, so I don't know much about it, but yeah, it looks very summery, and I just feel the urge to read it, so I'm going to be looking at that one. And then finally, I'm just feeling like reading something on my Kindle. So I don't have anything picked out for that right now, but I'm going to go through my physical TBR and find books that are on Kindle Unlimited and pick one of those and read that this week too. So game plan, read a book on Kindle, finish up these two, and then get this one read. That's a lot of reading, so hopefully this challenge goes well and we get a lot more reading done. So yeah, let's continue to read as much as I can this week without going overboard. Like, it's going to be what I would normally read if I wasn't in a reading slump. If I'm like 100% on reading, this will be a normal week for me. I'm not gonna like do anything crazy like 8 hours a day, because I don't have that, guys. I just don't. Okay friends, so it is Tuesday, it is day 2, and as you saw yesterday, I finished The Secret Garden, and then I continued Meet Me at the Lake, and I got a good chunk of reading in. I did not calculate how much, so I will put yesterday's totals right here. I am really liking this book so far. I will say that I did get up and start doing some chores before I realized yesterday that I wasn't going to read anymore, so the time is a little skewed at the end. I probably had to take off like 10 or 15 minutes because I started doing stuff, but that's all calculated here. I'm really enjoying this book so far. We're jumping back and forth between timelines, and I feel like we're really setting up the story, and we're seeing like how they had their day together back then and how they started to grow this like connection and bond, and then we're seeing how their lives are now and how they're so different, and how they both pursued different dreams than what they had originally thought they were going to pursue, and how they were actually in close proximity to each other a few times in these last 10 years. And how there's just been basically kind of like betrayal, like just kind of like a betrayal that it's just like has not been talked about yet. Like there's a betrayal that just they haven't talked about, and it's really good, it's really fun, but I feel like not much is happening. Like, it's moving kind of slow, moving a little slow, but I'm liking it so far, and I like this man, I like this girl, and I'm curious to see where it went. I think maybe, hopefully, the first like third was just setting everything up, and now that we're like into the story, we'll start getting a little bit more, because like I feel like I need more. Like, I feel like it's like a dry sandwich. Like, we got veggies but we got no sauce, you know? So like I feel like we need some sauce on this sandwich, and maybe like some seasoning, because it's just a little boring. But I'm curious to see where it goes, because I feel like it has the potential to be really, really cute. I just like, it needs to get there, you know? So like I said, it's now Tuesday. I did not read a morning book yet. I am going to start Warriors. It's another graphic novel by Aaron Hunter. This is book number 3. I am reading this with my nephews, and they've been yelling at me to get it read. So I need to get number 3 read. So I'm going to start that tomorrow. I did not read a morning book today, so no morning pages or time for today. And then this is going to be what I plan on continuing to read this evening slash afternoon, just whenever I can pick it up. So that is the game plan. We'll continue this. I will let you guys know how far we get. I'm currently on page 120, chapter 11. So yeah, we'll keep this going and we'll see how it goes. And hopefully we get some sauce, guys. It's Wednesday morning. I read yesterday 0, nothing at all. I did not read. I watched a movie instead. But today, new morning book. We're gonna start Warriors Part 3, starting on page 1. 5:35 in the morning. Let's do it. Hello my friends, so I'm coming at you with a couple of updates. If you didn't know the title of this vlog, it is How Much Do I Read in a Week During a Reading Slump. So if that's not a spoiler, I don't know what is. I had a major reading slump, my friends. I did. I had a major reading slump, and I barely read for a few days. Like, I literally barely read. Tuesday, I told you I read 0. Wednesday, you saw I read my morning book, 20 pages. Yeah, that was it. That was all that I managed to read on Wednesday, and then Thursday, again, I read absolutely 0. So, middle of the week, I hit a major reading slump, and it was rough. It was really, really rough, especially since I knew I was recording this video. I was kind of disappointed in myself, but I was like, you know what? This is so realistic what I read in a week, and this week I was in a reading slump, and that is what it is. So, Friday came along, and I was like, I need to try and break this reading slump for the weekend. Like, I wanted to enjoy my weekend and get some reading in. So, I decided to just throw aside the books that I was reading, everything I had planned, just throw it all aside and just pick up something that just looked like it would be just fun and just kind of mindless. I actually had my boyfriend, he picked it out for me. I was like, here's like 5 books, pick one out. And he ended up picking out Dante by Sadie Kincaid. This is a Chicago mafia romance. It is a dark romance, and he picked it out because he's like, this is completely different than anything you've been reading, and hopefully it'll work. And let me tell you guys, it worked. It did work. So Friday night, I ended up reading for probably 2 hours. So I got a good chunk into this book on Friday night. And then Saturday, I didn't read very much. I read maybe about an hour on Saturday. And then Sunday, I probably ended up reading 2.5 to 3 hours. So yeah, I broke my reading slump, and I ended up reading this entire book over the weekend. I would say it took me maybe 6 hours total to read this book. Maybe. That might be a little bit over-exaggerating. It might have been like 5.5. But we're going to say 6 hours just to be nice. We'll say it took me 6 hours to read this book, and it was... Hold on. 361 pages. 361 pages, and I got this book read, and like I said, I think it took maybe 5 to 6 hours, somewhere in there, and I stopped recording it because I kind of was feeling so much pressure on myself with this video and my how much do I read, that I was like, we need to just take a step back, we need to just focus on reading and seeing if I can break this reading slump. And then I was like, okay, cool, I broke the reading slump, so let's see how much I can read this weekend. And then I figured I'd update you guys at the end. So I did get this entire book read this weekend, which I'm very happy and very proud of, considering it helped me break my reading slump. So I'm really, really happy about that. And yeah, reading slumps are hard, and they definitely impact how much I read throughout the week. I would say every single week for me is completely different. So I don't read the same amount every single day or the same amount every single week. It really just depends on my mood and how busy I am and what else I have going on and all the kind of things. But I did end up liking Dante by Sadie Kincaid. Like I said, it is a dark mafia romance. I will give you my full thoughts on it in my July reading wrap up, which is going to be live in a few weeks because it's almost the end of July already. So you'll hear my full thoughts on it there. But I'll just say that it is very, very spicy, like 4.5 out of 5 stars for spiciness. And it was good. There's a lot that I enjoyed about the book, but there's also a lot I did not enjoy about the book. So I rated it 3 out of 5 stars, which for me means good. I recommend it for dark romance readers, but yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this, so I will let you guys know all those thoughts in my wrap-up. And talking about wrapping up, let's wrap up how much I read this week. So I did not do the calculations. I did not, so I'm going to put them right here. Actually, let me think. So I think I just did 6 hours, we'll say, and then I already had what? Maybe 3 hours in. So I'd say maybe about 9 hours. Let me see, that's a guess. I'd say maybe about 9 hours this week, maybe about 500 to 600 pages. Those are my guesses. Let's see if they're actually correct. You'll see it on the screen. You let me know how off I am because those are just guesses. 9 hours, 500 to 600 pages. I really don't remember. So yeah, that is how much I read this week during a reading slump. Let me know how much you guys read on an average week and how much you read like when you're in a reading slump. Do you keep trying to read or you just let yourself take a break for a few days, kind of like I did? Let me know. I would love to hear how your guys' week is going and what you are currently reading. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as I post videos several times a week and lots of shorts. And you know that I love me some books, cats, and wellness. So you'll be seeing all of that. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in my next one. Live well, read lots of good books, and go discover, my friends. Bye. If you're still here, I want you guys to comment down below. No more reading slumps. No more.